What is going on, guys? One more team ring has a brand new episode of Sweet Talkin Podcast. I'm sorry it took a little bit longer to get to episode 2, but and I promise not every episode on this show is going to be about my music and me, but it just happens to be that this show is premiering at the same time. There's a lot of kickoff for my new music. There's just so much going on personally right now for my career, and I just really love the fact that I get to talk about it in an open, long form like this podcast. So I hope you guys are ready to just sit back, relax, grab you some popcorn, grab you something to drink, because we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about so much. Oh man, the fact that it doesn't feel like this needs to be like a 10-minute YouTube video feels so nice, because there's just so much I would love to talk about with this new body, new era, as I like to call it in my music. And it's just something that I've been so excited to talk about, and it's so cathartic to finally just get to be open about it and really just finally, oh my gosh, I can't explain to y'all how excited I am. You know, the first episode, I'm pretty sure if you watched the first episode, it was clear to you just how much just the Sweet Story of Mine album and that whole time meant to me. You know, I'm forever in debt to that body of work. It showed me so much to who I am as an artist. It just unveiled so much. I learned a lot about myself, my music, my craft. I learned new techniques when it came to recording, doing that album that I'm so blessed to still be using right now. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how blessed I am to have made that album and for it to do as well as it did, because I posted Sunday, because it was the day before the kickoff of the new era, that I crunched the numbers, and this is the minimum numbers. This is all I could get at the moment. Over 11,000 total streams across YouTube, across all music streaming platforms. So thank you all so much for the support and love for the album. I really, it means a lot to me that this body of work that I put a year and a half of blood, sweat, and tears into paid off and will continue to pay off. Because like I said, while I'm done promoting that music and working on it and releasing it, obviously, there's still more work to be done. You know, I have some live performance ideas for later on in the year. I don't want to give a time frame because I don't know exactly how that's going to shape up. But later this year, there's going to be some live performance stuff with the whole album. And then also music videos. I have a couple. Anything I say in this podcast that's not within like a 3-month span of right now, take with a grain of salt that it's likely happening. I just don't know when it's going to happen. There's going to be a music video for In My Head and Play Your Cards. Don't know when that's going to happen, but it will happen. So just stay tuned for that. But trust me, you don't need to just stay tuned for that, because between now and then, there's so much new music on the way that I'm just super excited to be bringing you guys. And I'm just super excited to finally talk about it. Finally! This past Monday, I posted a little reel. It was attached at the end of the Wings cover, and then I posted it to all my socials. Let's get it. The new era of my music is here. As I said in the last episode, I worked on this music in tandem with Sweet Story of Mine. So as I was working on the album, I was also working on this music, because the music was written towards the end of the Sweet Story of Mine writing era, at least the first batch of Sweet Story of Mine. And then it was like, I kept having like batches of writing songs. I think the first batch came in like December to February of 2021 and 2022. That was like the first batch of writing. And then I would say the second batch came from like April to June, July. That was a second batch of songs. And then the third batch was like September to November, December, when that's where Play Your Cards and Peace kind of fell into place. And a couple of songs that have gone unreleased and some songs that you haven't heard yet. And then I'm on like the fourth batch now, which has been from end of December, early January to now, which is a lot of music, which is really cool, and we're going to talk more about it. But one of the first songs that came out of this music was called Just Right. I wrote this a couple days after Christmas in 2021, and it was that feeling of party culture. You know, a lot of people say they have their toxic phase, their wild phase after losing somebody, whatever extent that person is, where they just kind of go buck wild. And luckily, I don't think I really had that problem. I was pretty aware of my mind that I could go that route. So I kind of wrote this song to kind of simmer those thoughts. One thing I do when I write my music is I write to process my thoughts, and I write to figure out my mind. What is my mind thinking, and I try to process stuff. And a lot of times, if there's a problem I know is within my mind or my heart, and I can't really pinpoint it, and I have trouble identifying it, usually if I try to start writing a song, I kind of figure that out in the process of writing a song. And there's several songs that are in this big batch of music that have helped me learn so much about myself, and this song was one of them. I was so excited about this song, I almost premiered it in a YouTube video at the beginning of 2022. It was going to be a live performance video where I was going to perform a few songs. I think it was going to be like You Keep Me Going, Stay. I can't remember what the other one was to save my life. And then it was going to be Just Right at the end. It's like the premiere of a new song. I ended up not doing the video, and thankfully, because that song did not need to get revealed that early. And then in the summer of 2022, I had what was an almost finished version of the song, a part where I was like, if I just spent a couple more days just like alone, trapped in my studio working on it, it would have been finished, and it would have came out like in July or August. But between Live a Lie and the album, and the fact that Live a Lie was not a single from the album, it was just a little too close to the album coming out that I was like, this could get confusing to people if this doesn't appear. I was like, I have just enough time between Live a Lie and the album that I can separate the two, but this one will just be cutting it too close. And so I was just kind of, I hit the brakes on it. I was just kind of like, it's not time yet. There's going to be a time where I know this is the moment for Just Right. And as the album started coming through fruition, I think it was probably around July or August when I realized I needed to kind of hit the brakes on it, that Sweet Story of Mine literally showed me when Just Right should come out the following month. So in the podcast, in the last episode, you heard me talk about the Deluxe album, how it got delayed, and it was originally supposed to come out in November of last year. Well, Just Right was actually going to come out in December of last year, and it was just going to kind of follow the heels of the Deluxe album. And I think right now, the way everything panned out with the album coming out in February and now Just Right coming out in March, I think it's the perfect timing. I think December would have been a wrong time to release it, just because you're entering the holiday season and the kind of party, free life culture isn't necessarily the song everyone's looking for. So I kind of broke up the mix and I released Mistletoe Woes, and then we had Just Right, and then we had the Deluxe album come out in February. Took January off to kind of set up the rebrand as we were just and get all my ducks in order. And now that we're in March, it's starting to warm up outside. Everyone's starting to get, excited for the summer. So it just seemed perfect that this song comes out now. It's so cathartic because Sweet Story of Mine, one thing about every song is that there so many different genres, and there's so many different things I did vocally to test myself, to stretch myself, and see how far I could go. And it was so nice with this song. It's just so easy to sing. It was just so chill. The song's chill. There's nothing big about the song. There's nothing crazy about the song. And that's how I loved it. When I wrote the song, I remember I just enjoyed it so much at the end of 2021, just singing it, because it was just so cathartic. It was almost therapeutic, because it wasn't this super pull at the heartstrings song. It wasn't a super deep song. It was literally a song about having a good time, about forgetting about the worries of life, just taking what's in front of you and embracing it, seizing the day. And to have a song that just is so just free was so nice. After every song is Sweet Story of Mine, which I love every song, but every song is heavy in a way because it's attributing to this storyline and it's attributing to this whole story, and you can tell like each song is super personal. And this one's personal. Like, I don't write a song that's not personal. That can't work. If I'm doing that, then that music's gonna be garbage. AKA most of my music from 2017 to 2019. But for Just Right, it was just this cathartic writing. I wrote it so quickly, and it came off the heels of another song I wrote called Sunrise, which was pretty similar in like tone and style. I love that song too. I don't know if it's ever going to get released. It'll get leaked out some way. A lot of times I say the one song that I write, if it's like early on in like a writing phase, usually that song is a building block to a new song. And Sunrise to me, and I wrote another one called Saturday Night. Those two songs, if you look at them now, they are definitely like the building blocks to what ended up becoming Just Right. and the song that's just so fun. I've done like mock performances of Just Right, and it's just so much fun. I can't wait to perform it one day because I know I can just get so intimate with the audience when performing it. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this song. And it's not only because of the song, it's just because of what it means. This song means so much to what's coming. It's the kickoff of the next generation of my music. For the first time in the coming on 6 years that I've been doing music, it's the first time where I don't hate the music I did before this. And I feel like I need everyone to forget the music that I did before this. It's so nice that I have that body of work with Sweet Story Mind to be a musical foundation for me as an artist. So when I'm releasing these singles, new listeners and you guys who are returning listeners, you're not just given one single to listen to or just this and live a lie. You have a 20 song album to listen to, and it gives you options. It gives you more insight into me as an artist and how I am able to jump into different genres from song to song. And the funny thing is that it all flows. This is not part of the Sweet Story of Mine album, but I feel like all the music I release, you kind of still see a story going. Now, I'm not promoting it as a story, or won't promote it as a story, but it plays itself out like one because you're getting the story of my life throughout this new music, and you're kind of seeing the different headspaces I've been at, and sometimes the genre I write a song to kind of reflects that stage of life I'm in. And I love the fact that as an audience, you guys can kind of follow along on this journey and feel a part of this journey as you're seeing me grow as an artist and seeing, the audience grow. Because we are growing the fastest we've been growing in the, I don't even know how many years I've been doing this. 7 years, I think I've been doing like YouTube and music. The audience and the numbers are growing, and numbers are not why I do this. I do this for myself and because this is my passion for life, to make music and make content and inspire others and help others kind of process their feelings through my music. But the fact that the numbers are growing means that my music and my content is reaching more people, and the fact that song reactions, I've got to be really thankful to those because those are really bringing new audiences in. Like Dale Pa Ya, the Big Time Rush reaction, has brought in a more Latin audience, and the Man Marijan reaction has brought in the Indian audience, and I love getting to interact with these people from different cultures in the comment sections and getting to hear from them and learn from them because that music is influencing my music. I'm just a melting pot of influence right now. It's just I'm taking in everything and just trying to find what is the sound I want to be. Because one thing that the album did and the new music will do is that we're still kind of genre hopping. We're hopping around. We're kind of jumping from genre to genre. And eventually we're going to settle down, and I think I might be kind of zeroing in on what I think my personal genre is going to be. But you'll notice, like, with Just Right, it's this kind of chill pop synth club song. It's also, fun fact, it's the first song that I've actually added instruments to. All my beats for my songs before have been produced by other people, but this is the first one where it was produced by another producer, but I also got to play with some synth and added some stuff to the chorus. And I felt it was just missing. I felt something I was doing vocally just needed to be backed up a little bit more, and I really liked the little bit I added. So it was kind of cool in the credits of the song that I have a synth credit. And that's one thing I'm really doing now with the music is, yeah, some of the music is still being produced by other people, but I'm getting my hands dirty with it. I'm not just taking the music for what it is and dealing with it. If I feel it's missing something or needs something, I can add it myself, which is super exciting, and it helps it be more personable and more real and more interactive with me as an artist, that I get to just be so hands-on with the process. Because I think now, I've always been hands-on with my music because it's only been me that worked on my music leading up to this point. But it's now I'm more hands-on because now it means more. There's more at stake now with the music because this is what I want to do for a career. This is the only thing I can envision myself doing for the rest of my life. There's other things that I know I could do, but this is the only thing I would want to do for the rest of my life. And I tell people, they say, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, if I want a stage performing to X number of people, and I can just tell that the words that I wrote sitting on my bed 2 years ago is now helping someone get through a situation, if I can stand on a stage and see that in their eyes, then that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with my life, if that makes sense. Really just help influence others. And this new body of music, I think, really goes to a lot of different emotions, and it's not as pointed as I think the Sweet Story of Mine was. I think one thing about the Sweet Story of Mine era was I made it so personal, it became too personal. Even with the deluxe album, because of the shadow cast over it from the original album, was I got too deep into like trying to explain some of the songs on the album and some of the reasons behind the album. And now with this music, I'm trying to. It's hard because you really do want to talk about, every story behind every song, but sometimes you got to keep those stories to yourself and let those stories live inside you, and you can evoke those stories when you perform the songs. But when it comes to explaining the songs and, bringing others in, it's more about just giving an overview and giving an abstract meaning of the song so others can relate to it and others can kind of vibe with it more. And so that's what I really love, and that's what I think really struck with Live a Lie. Why that was so successful, because it was in the middle of the Sweet Story of Mine run, but because this song was not connected to the album and it wasn't connected to a personal story or situation in my life, I think that's why that song was beloved by so many, and a lot of people really drifted towards it, was because it was this song that wasn't as heavy and wasn't as, hammered on as the album was. It was just kind of just, it wasn't super happy because it's talking about not wanting to be dragged on by someone or letting a situation drag on when you both can move on to better things if you just are both open and honest with each other and not just living a lie for life just so you can have that fulfillment inside. I think a lot of people kind of drifted to that, and a lot of people were like, I vibe with the song because I didn't make it too personal. I was like, I had this new song, it's out, go listen to it, and I really had the time of my life promoting it, and I shot a music video for it, which was really fun, and that song killed it, and people love that song. I've used that song when talking to other people and networking within the business. That's the song I've been using, so I'm excited now with the new music that I get more options to choose from. The fact that Live a Lie launched this era of music a year ago, almost, is insane, but it is part of this music, so I'm thankful for the journey that song took on, and I'm just so excited for Just Right. And there's so many songs that I've been working on, because like I said, this writing for this new body of music, I would say, has been since December of 2021, and I would say there's like 30 to 40 songs outside of Sweet Story of Mine that have been written. I would say it's around the 30 to 40 range. And that's not including music I've written over the past couple of years that I've yet to record. That's not going to get released, unfortunately. A lot of those songs are just going to kind of go in the vault and be quietly leaked out in places. But where, I'm not going to share. You have to find them on your own. A couple of them are actually already out. Even some of the newer ones that I've written, and I'm just like, I love those songs, but they're just not strong enough compared to some of the other music I'm writing. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and they've gotten cut, so I kind of finished them off a little bit and then leaked them out. So one of them I posted on TikTok a few months ago, so if you go and look at my TikTok and you see one of the new songs that I wrote within the last 7 months that I was promoting, there's a good chance that's out there on the internet somewhere. And it's hard. It's like killing someone you love, because every song that I write, I pour my heart into in some way, shape, or form. So when you have to be like, this song is just not cutting it, or it's just not as good, or it doesn't meet that level. But the fact that I have that problem is good, because for the first years doing music, I did not have that thought. It was every song I write goes on the album. And that is the absolute wrong. If you don't have options, you're losing kind of improvement, because you're just taking every song as it's good enough, and not every song is good enough. Because when you have options, then you have to pick, okay, which song hits. And that's what I really do. And what I've really learned is peer review. Get people to listen to the music. So your ears will love every song because you pour your heart into every song. Get people who haven't had that same experience you have had, or had different music tastes, or had music tastes in that genre that I'm jumping into, and have them listen to the song. That's when you know if a song's good enough. And that's what I've done with the new music. If there's a song that I know someone that likes indie rock likes, I'll show them one of my indie rock songs. If there was someone that's like, if I know someone that likes pop punk, I'll show them one of the new pop punk songs. If I know someone loves like power pop synth, I'll show them one of those songs. Because there's just so many different ones. And the idea of how much I can do with the new music is insane. Because the crazy thing is, I have a roadmap from February of this year to March of next year where I have like all the release dates written down. And it's like I have placeholder songs because I don't stop writing. I keep writing. I write at least a song a week, if not more. Sometimes I write multiple in a day. And so it's just more and more songs. And there's some songs that are just better. And as I keep writing some of these songs that are very good and I love to death, they don't make the cut. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking, but it's the truth. And as sad as it is to see the songs go, it's honestly, it's exciting to, because it's like I had the unreleased songs that I hope people will find one day. And because one thing I love is my biggest advantage going into the industry is I've been a fan much longer than I've been in the industry, so I know what fans want. And I know how important it is to be connected with the fans and be interactive with the fans. So leaking out these songs that just weren't good enough to be released on streaming platforms in my main channel, the fact that they're out there on the internet, and one day as my fan base continues to grow and they start searching for new music in times where I might have to stop for whatever reason, if I'm with a label and, we're taking a break between stuff to let promo runs or whatever the case may be, there's music that they can stumble on and find. And as long as I am doing this independently, I'm going to leak every song eventually that I do. And if I'm ever partnered with a label or whatever, I'm going to do my best to kind of own the rights over my music so I can still leak stuff out. Because if we're going to put all this time and effort into writing and making music, why just let it sit on a hard drive forever? There might be a person in the world that really needs to hear that 3 minutes of music that could change their whole life. And why should we rip that away from them just because it might not be good enough compared to the rest? So with that, let's talk about the plan going forward. So we know about Just Right is coming out Friday on all streaming platforms. Pre-save it now. The link is down below in the comment section. We are in a very exciting time because one thing I've been very good at over the past 6 years I've been doing music is over-promising and under-delivering. And I'll promise a lot and nothing will come to show of it. And I happened a little bit recently with the deluxe album because we had an idea of release in mind, but because of forces out of our control, it got delayed. So that I was like, I'm trying to prove people that this doesn't happen. And because that the merch store launch got delayed after I kind of hinted at it, so I was just kind of like, no, what is happening? It's happening again, but this time it's not my fault. But it was, but the fact that now everything is launched now and the transparency with this podcast is super nice. Because one thing I can promise you is you will be getting new music every month going forward. Whether that's a single, a couple singles, an EP, you'll just have to wait and see. And the nice thing is, there's not like a pressure of, oh my gosh, what's the next song? Because like I said, I have a roadmap. So even though it's going to be, songs going to get taken in and out of the roadmap, there's at least a placeholder song at every month. And a lot of these songs are almost done, if not done. Like the next single that's coming out in April is pretty much done. Like I'm tweaking it now, and it's almost done. The one in May is almost done. I'm tweaking it. And I got 3 songs coming out in May. One is in the writing phase. The other one is being recorded. And the other one is almost done. The 2 that I'm still like really working on are for 2 films, my film and my friend Sam's film. And then the other one is just kind of it will be my personal single. And then we'll have the summer singles where it's going to be more power, pop, synth, summer type music, which is a couple songs called like Feel Alive, and I can't even remember all the songs. And then a lot of you probably heard the music in the teaser in Monday's teaser, and that was not music from Just Right. That was music from a song called Running to Love. It was the first song I wrote this year in early January, and it's a psychedelic pop song. It was something I really wanted to get into. I really wanted to kind of dive into the world of psychedelic music and see what that sandbox was like. So I listened to a lot of music and then try to figure out where my style matched with it, and we got a really cool song out of it. I love the song to death, and I think it's going to be coming later on this year, but I'm super excited for you guys to hear it because it's so different than anything I've done. And the cool thing about that, and this is a cool announcement, Running to Love, when that comes out later this year, that will be the first song I release to have a Dolby Atmos track get released with it. With the psychedelic nature of the song and the power of Dolby Atmos that I have with using Logic Pro, I really get to kind of mess with your mind when you're listening to the song in Apple Music and Tidal. So for you guys who use those services, you are welcome, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the song, because I'm recording the song kind of bass right now, still working on that, but I already kind of know how I want to shape it and design the Dolby Atmos track. It's going to be really cool because we're really have a lot of panning left and right vocals, and it's really like a lot of reverb and a lot of echo to really just have a bunch of different stuff blending together at once to create this song that really switches up on you a lot. It really kind of switches vibes throughout the song, especially towards the end. It really just kind of jumps in different spots, and I really love it. And that's just one of the genres that I'm jumping into. There's one thing I've learned with player cards is I love pop punk. That's the music I grew up listening to. And the fact that I get to go back to that playground a little bit more with a couple of songs I'm working on is exciting. There's a country song, a full-on country song, not like What I Never Knew and Half a Man that were like, I call these like semi-country songs or pseudo-country songs. These are pure country songs. There's a couple of them, and there's a couple of power pop synth songs. But the one genre I'm really enjoying working in right now is indie rock and indie pop. I don't know what it is, but I've really loved working in synth music over the past year, and a lot of the music you're going to hear starting out is very synth-based. But with some of the songs I've found recently, the power and the energy that organic instruments hold is just so awesome, and it's just incomparable to synth. Like, you can't hold the two together, and I love both, and I'm glad I get to do both. But I think, and I spoke earlier in the podcast about, I think I'm kind of honing in on what genre I love to do, I really want to do going forward, and if I had to pick one, that would be the one. For a second, it looked like it was going to be pop punk, but I think it's going to be indie rock and indie pop. That's really where I'm really having the most fun of my life writing songs in that genre, and I've only a couple in so far in the recent weeks, but the power and just the energy and the momentum that those songs carry is incomparable to what has come before. And that's not to negate the other genres, it's just that I think this genre is the one that speaks to me, so I'm excited to share that music with you guys. There's also a reggae song. I love reggae. I think it's just a fun song, especially when summertime comes, to have that song with the kind of Congo beat. And the fact that I got to write one, it's called When the Sun Goes Down. It's this sexy, just pop song, and I love it. It's just kind of talking about, like, it just talks about what happens when the sun goes down. I'll leave it at that. And there's so many songs. Let me just spitball a couple of songs that are in the works. Let's see. We got Oblivious, which you may have seen on the channel from a year ago, where I performed it at an open mic. That song's going to be coming out in May. I got to be careful because some of these songs might not come out. The song in April is called Break My Rules. It's a really cool, just chill, another chill song, just talking about, I kind of call it Signs 2.0, because it's just about realizing what's in front of you and not being scared to take that chance and be willing to kind of, everyone has those rules they set up for themselves when trying to approach a relationship, and it's just about one of those where sometimes you just got to drop your guards and carpe diem, seize today, because you don't, I always say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that's what that song's about. And there's these bunch of songs, and I got to be really careful which ones to talk about, because I don't know if they're getting released. But the beautiful thing is, I got so much music I'm working on, and I'm not going to do another album for the foreseeable future. There's been conversations with some people about maybe doing an album at some point, and I have ideas for what that album would look like, but I don't want to do that right yet. But one thing I do want to do is EPs. So going forward, you're not going to get any soon. It would be like later in this year, early next year when you'll get EPs. But I like an EP to be a bunch of songs that I wrote that aren't a similar genre or similar theme. So there's a bunch of music I'd say that I'm trying to narrow down that are like these love songs, but they're not really connected, or they're not all about the same situations, or some are not as authentic as others. And I'm trying to find a good group of them to kind of blend together to possibly be a love EP that would be released around Valentine's Day of next year. As I'm writing a couple of country songs, for those of you who don't know, I come from the country. You can probably tell by my accent. I have a little bit of a southern accent. You know, it's a little bit of nod to where I come from to do these country pop songs. And I really enjoy making them and getting to kind of use my country accent for them. So I think I'm going to write a group of those, maybe 4 or 5 of those, and release those as an EP, whether that's later this year, early next year, just to kind of, tip my hat to where I come from, because the music I make is not necessarily the popular music for around here, because I love indie pop and rock and synth and all that, and R&B. Kind of having a group of music that's really going to kind of just acknowledge where I come from and say thank you. I'm excited to do that. Something I'm really excited for. I spoke in the last podcast about how I was going to re-record "Stay" and "Christmas Right Here." Well, lucky for you guys, I know when those songs are coming out. All in December-ish. December-ish. Let's put it December-ish. So we're going to have a new Christmas song come out in December called "A Merry Oaks Christmas." I'll talk more about that when it gets closer to time. "Christmas Right Here" will come out the week before. Whenever that song's going to drop, "Christmas Right Here" is going to come out the week before the re-release of it, which I'm super excited for you guys to hear. It sounds, I already know because I already started working on it last Christmas, because I tried to have it out last Christmas season, but it just didn't work out because I was also working on the deluxe album, so it just kind of got shoved to the back corner. But it's being worked on, so I'm super excited for you guys to hear that. And then we're going to have another EP come out at the end of the year, where I'm super excited to be bringing back a handful of music from around 2020 and to now. There's a group of songs that I loved from the discography from the first 3 albums and a couple of the singles that I had to take them all down just because of the recording quality, and there had to be a certain standard level of production for what I had out there, as I'm trying to appeal to more people in the industry and trying to get more eyes on the music. I had to make sure there was not one that could be a setback. There's going to be a handful of songs that I'm kind of going through the discography right now and just kind of picking which ones I want to do. I don't think it's going to be more than maybe 7 or 8. I think at 8 will be the most I'll do, but I can tell you 5 songs that are 100% on the EP. "Stay," the 2021 single. "Too Soon," the 2020 single. "Alone," the 2019 single. "No More," the 2019 single. And "Misunderstood," the 2019 single. Those 5 songs will be on the EP, 100%. And there's a couple other songs that I'm looking at. I'm looking at "Anything For You" from New Vibes, "Treat You Right" from New Vibes. I'm looking at that I'd have to rewrite some of it, but I'm interested in maybe bringing that one back. "Friend of Mine," obviously that's a really personal song, so I love that one. And I think "Fake Love" and "Toxic" are also a couple from Honesty that I'm looking at, possibly redoing. We'll see. But those 5 are the ones that I can promise you will come out. But the fact that I just get to release so much music right now is so awesome. I'm working on a cover of an unreleased Jonas Brothers song that will come out in 2024 at some point. That's going to be insane. I love that song so much. It's honestly one of my favorite songs by them. And luckily, with my distributor, I have the ability to re-record that and get the rights to release it. So that's going to be exciting. And it's just so much new music. I don't want to talk about it yet because, like I said, I've learned my lesson about over-promising and under-delivering. But this new music is just, it means so much. To finally be able to release it because I've been holding on to it for so long because of Sweet Story of Mine and making sure there was nothing distracting audience attention from the album. But finally being able to just talk about it and be open about it and express my excitement and talk about the songs is so exciting. And I really wanted to just pull everyone in and just grasp you from the start, which is why the Just Right artwork is so like visually, like I think it's so visually attractive, like with the greens and the blues and the reds. I'm really playing with the colors that your eyes attract you the most, just because I really want to bring people in. And we're talking about doing a music video for that. I really want to up the number of music videos I'm doing. You know, it's just hard to kind of do that, which is with everything else that I'm working on, because I'm working on my own film and I'm working on another film that I'm not going to talk too much about yet. And I'm got a bunch of other stuff I'm working on. I'm also finishing up college and all of this. On all of this craziness, I'm still a college student. I have some music opportunities that I'm working on. We have a studio being worked on, which is exciting. And I'll take y'all on that journey as that starts to commence. So there's just so much happening right now. And the fact that I'm somehow able to juggle it all is insane to me. And I'm being more productive on YouTube. I'm trying to be more active on social media, post more on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter, I will say. I'm pretty good at being active on Twitter and Facebook, and just trying to be interactive with you guys. You know, you can't grow an audience if you don't interact with them and you don't show them attention, you don't give them care, and you don't give them a reason to want to listen to your music. And that's what I really need to focus on now, is hooking people in and really giving you a reason rather than just say, hey, new song out, go listen to it. I really feel the pressure to kind of give people a reason. People aren't just going to listen to it. They need to be emotionally invested in the body of work. So I think that I got a good hook on that going forward. So I'm super excited to just share this new music with you. Being able to do music full time this year was something I talked about at the end of last year to all my friends and my family. It was just like, I know I want to do this for the rest of my life, and next year is my year to prove it to myself. And I've had to say no to certain opportunities because they would have gotten in the way of me working on music. And people will be like, that's crazy that you turned that down, or that would have been such a great opportunity for you. And I know, but at the end of the day, I know where my heart lies, I know where my mind lies. And it's with making music. And I'm having the most fun of my life right now doing music. And I wouldn't trade the feeling I have right now for anything in the world. So, does it hurt to say no to some of the things I said no to? It does a little bit. It makes me even question myself a little bit. But I know betting on myself this year and starting with the deluxe album and now going single to single and, you know, working on EPs and working on songs for films and working on my own films and working on YouTube. This is the year, and it's already starting to show. Like, you guys have seen numbers that I got from the album. Those are the minimal numbers. Like, I don't know. There could be more numbers out there. YouTube, there's a constant growth on YouTube, which is exciting. And there's just more eyes being brought on professionally. And there's discussions being had behind the scenes that hopefully lead to better and really cool experiences and opportunities and networks. And I'm in constant communication with all the streaming services because there's a lot of Will Morrises that like to make music, and I'm making sure that my music is set up to be in the best position possible to succeed and, you know, establish myself on all these platforms. So it's exciting to just, it feels like I'm relaunching myself. And people are like, you just released an album. And obviously, yes, but this just feels like a whole new era. This is not tied to one big project like Sweet Story of Mine was. This project is 100% me. And I just get to have so much fun. And hopefully this all comes to a point where I'm on a stage performing this music sooner rather than later, because it's like an itch and I need to scratch it. And I'll be able to scratch it to an extent later this year with some stuff that I'm working on, which is going to be really cool. And I'm super excited for that, to give you guys at least a taste of what a live Will Morris performance would look like. And hopefully kind of use that as an audition tape for other people. But yeah, with this podcast episode, I just really wanted to give you guys a deep dive into what's coming with the music and where the music's going. I am just so excited for you guys to stay on this journey with me. And if you are thinking about leaving, don't leave. The best is only yet to come. I'm just thankful that a lot of new artists, I think one thing they struggle with is they only have that first single or a couple of singles, and that's why they kind of lose retention, is because they don't have a bunch of music out already. And the biggest thing that was important to me about having the album be released was I get to have that ability to have a whole body of music already out. Like I can have a playlist on Spotify called the Complete Collection, and I'm just releasing technically my second professional single and what's out. But because of the album, I have enough music to where I can do that. And I'm just so thankful that I'm able to do this every day. Hopefully just keep doing it and hopefully it becomes really sustaining financially, and doing the merch, not because I'm selling a lot of merch, because I'm not, but to have that option to really engage people and bring people in. This time right now, it's just, let's see where it goes, betting on myself and really giving 150,000% every day. And I work on my music every day in some stint, like, I'm doing busy work, like just going and organizing files. That's in some way I'm making myself better as an artist and shaping myself better and setting up myself better. And I'm just, oh, I love talking about the music, but I'm more excited for you guys to hear it, and so I can finally just share it with you and perform it. And the reason I wanted to do this podcast solo was no one knows the new music and the plan like I do. So I felt it was important just to have this episode just to be me and you guys listening to this, just to talk about the new music and where it's going. And it's so cathartic that I'm able to just write music, and I love it so much. And have songs that are shorter, have songs that are longer, have songs that are pop, R&B, reggae, synth, rock, indie, alternative, country. I have songs in every genre, and I'm just so thankful that I get to do this, and I don't take it for granted. Because even at the small level I'm at right now, I know there's a bunch of other artists that wish they had the ability to do what I'm able to do with the support that I have. And that's really the amazing thing, is I have the biggest support from my friends and family, which is why I'm able to do this, in addition to everything else I'm doing. And this journey is only beginning. It hasn't even really started yet. We have an album out. I have 124 songs in my total discography. You didn't know that, did you? I have 124 songs. Actually, it might be 125. It's 125 songs, actually, because I just wrote Los Angeles a couple days ago. So Los Angeles made it 125. So having this opportunity to make music and share and pick which songs I show you guys, it's awesome. And I just hope you guys stay on this journey and continue to support and bring others in, get more listeners in. This is a journey that I hope just keeps growing and keeps expanding, and I'm just super excited for what this future holds, because there's so many things that are possibly in the works for this year. And even if none of that works out, I still know that I get to do what I love doing every day. And I'm working on bettering myself in my craft every day. And I think each song, you see a little bit more about my artistry. You're seeing a little bit more of my improvements in production and mixing and engineering and recording vocals. Every song is an improvement. Every song is showing that while I've been doing this for 6 years, I'm still very much a work in progress. And the fact that I'm, for the first time, starting to collaborate with people and not do this all on my own is also super exciting. So I've been talking about this for a long time now, but I cannot express to you guys just how excited I am for this journey. And I hope you guys are excited to join me on this roller coaster that we're about to get on, and we're about to leave the station. And once we go, it's never stopping. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be curves, there's going to be moments where everything's turned upside down. I know when we get back to the station, we're going to look back at it, and it's going to be like, that was a hell of a ride. And that hell of a ride starts this week with Just Right. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Make sure to subscribe if you hadn't already. Make sure to like this episode if you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that bell button down below so you are notified every single time a brand new video to the channel. Make sure to go stream Sweet Story Mine Deluxe. Like, I'm not throwing that music to the side. That music is still super important to me. And so make sure you go listen to that. Make sure to pre-save Just Right and be on the lookout because the lyric video will also be dropping Friday with the song at noon. The song drops at midnight, but the lyric video drops at noon. Make sure to check out the merch store and just stay tuned on all my socials everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, everywhere. I'm going to be posting everywhere, different stuff. Make sure to go follow not only my Will Morris official Instagram, but also follow the Will Morris Recordings Instagram for music. I'm posting a lot on there where I really post more about the process. And I really want, one thing I do want to do this year is to give you guys a bigger behind the scenes look. So there's been a lot of times where I started just setting my camera up and just pressing record and letting it run while I am recording vocals or making music, just so you guys get a little bit of an insight. So once the song comes out, I can kind of show you those videos. So yeah, just stay excited, stay tuned. We got a long journey up ahead. I'm super excited for you guys to hear Just Right. It's such a fun song, and I can't wait to shoot the music video for it later in the coming months. And I'm Morris, and I'm out. Peace.